Alright everybody, Dr. Lopez here. Grab your cans! I hope you guys are ready for this. Grab your spray cans. Shake them up. That's right. Grab your spray cans. Grab them and shake them. Alright guys, let's talk about the basic materials needed for the SPRAYCASSO style of art. The most important one is the mask. As you can tell, this mask has respirators on the side, filters. I highly recommend this mask. You can get it at pretty much any hardware store, especially if you spray paint as much as I do. It comes in very handy. Basic colors of spray paints: orange, white, black, get extra black and white, red, yellow, blue, and green. Basic colors, nothing too extravagant, no purples, no pinks, just the basic colors. Straight edges, different size straight edges will come in very handy to create different effects, such as water effects, lighting effects, help you manipulate the paint better. So the more sizes you have, the better. Great. Okay, put those aside. Masking tape and painter's tape works really good. You don't want to use anything too strong like duct tape. Different types and sizes of leads. Bolts work good. As you can tell, just put a little bit of tape here on the top, and this will be used to create planets, and you can easily remove them. Keep different sizes laying around, guys. You can find this in cups, lids, pretty much anything. Look around your kitchen. You can find stuff that if your parents will let you, or if you live alone, that you don't mind getting spray paint on. The caps from your spray paints, they work good too, so keep those handy. Different sizes will help in creating dimension, perhaps distance, especially in your space paintings. Different size of planets. The smaller the planet, the further away it is. So very important, very handy, very easy to get stencils for. Magazine sheets, pretty much any type of magazine sheet works great. This is a sports magazine, as you can tell, just very average. Here's another type, and we just tear pieces off. Yeah, pretty much any type of magazine works, except those that look like a newspaper. And you can tell, it looks just like a newspaper, real matted. They'll absorb the paint. So let's talk about poster board. This is an 11 by 14 poster board, and we use the glossy side. We always use the glossy side. We don't want to ever use on the matted side, because the paint absorbs. It's absorbed by the matted side. So we want to retain the most paint as possible on the glossy side. It'll just help us manipulate the paint better. It stays wetter a little bit longer, and as you can tell, it'll just look better. We give it a poster quality. So the matted side we do use to sign, to put our name, maybe the title of the painting. Well, I hope you guys are ready. I hope this has helped you answer a lot of questions. Let's get started. Alright guys, in this next tutorial, we're going to be creating a dragon out of a stencil. So I already went ahead and just put some colors on the bottom, created some texture, and then I went ahead and put the stencil of the dragon on top of it. Now with the blue, I'm just going over it very lightly, kind of creating a mist effect. This is what I call the nebula effect, right? Where you add a color and just kind of let it blend into the background. Now we're also going to use black on this part, and we're going to fade the black into our blue. So you don't want the black to go completely into it. You kind of want to be able to tell where the blue blends into the black, or vice versa, in this case the black into the blue. So you want to leave a little bit of that white in the background. And we're gonna work on our terrain on the bottom. So I added some more blue, and now I'm gonna cover the blue with black. And because it's gonna be a terrain, guys, we're gonna have to work in layers here. So I added a thick coat of black. Alright, now we're gonna get a piece of magazine, and we're gonna create a rocky texture. You see that? It's very simple. You just put your magazine down, smear it just a little bit, and then remove. This is the same technique that we used for creating mountains in the background, and you're gonna see that here pretty clearly, how you smear down. So you see, you put your magazine sheet and then smear down, and that gives you a very rocky or very smooth terrain, depends how you do it. And that's what we use for creating mountains. And I'm sure I have a tutorial out there where I show you this. If not, I'll create another one. So we're gonna give the rocky texture here. See that? Awesome. Just make it real rocky. You know, he's standing on a real rocky surface. You can always change the feel of the painting by maybe adding some grass, using the grass technique, maybe a bush. In this case, I want to leave it as a very cold, very desolate place. So I'm going to leave the rocky textures. You have seen me use this technique before with the lighting that I'm about to create here. I usually use it in space sceneries with a sunburst. In this case, we're still going to use it as a burst of light, but a little bit different context. Now, do you see how I sprayed some orange behind the dragon? This is one of the beauties of a spray paint, is that you can pretty much fix everything and anything. A little bit of blue, a little bit of black on top of that, and it blends right in. You can use a magazine sheet and create the same rocky texture that you had before, and won't be able to tell. I get a lot of emails from spray painters out there, man, all over the country and all over the world. And some of them have told me, you know, especially the ones that do this every night, they've told me, you know, we're tired of doing the Spider-Man, tired of doing buildings. What else do you got? You know, what else can we do? Something that doesn't take too much time that we can do live. Well, think about this painting. This painting is not very complicated. Maybe one of the only complicated techniques it uses is the fire, which is what we're going to be working on next. So we went ahead and created the glow of the fire. Now we're going to go ahead and transition that into red. And this is where the fire is going to come into. And so we're going to put a little bit of red here. And we're going to get some red blending into our orange. Just like that. At this point, we're ready to begin on the fire technique. So grab your SPRAYCASSO funnels and get them ready. We're going to use yellow and red for this next technique. Now, if you guys are wondering why I'm having tape on my finger, I call it my sprayer finger. It's so that whenever you're spray painting live, you don't get a blister on your finger. I actually went and I sprayed live a few days ago, and I forgot all about it, and I did so many paintings that I got a blister on my finger. Now, I went ahead and just filled up my SPRAYCASSO funnel here with yellow, and I'm putting down a pretty thick coat of yellow, as you can see, and I'm trying to stay within the red and the orange. Okay, so just kind of using the same technique we use for trees, right? Except we're staying just in one line, kind of making it a little bit random. You know how fire has those spurts, so maybe we can try and mimic that on our painting. Alright, now before we go any further with the red, I'm gonna get a little bit of clear coat, and I'm just gonna spray my painting throughout. I don't want it to completely dry. I'd like to add some background effects to our painting, and you want to do this while it's still moist. So add a little bit of clear coat. I'm going to use the SPRAYCASSO tool here, and I'm just going to use this edge. I'm just going to create some lightning here in the background. Remember, guys, keep it random. Don't just make a straight bolt of lightning coming down. You want to add some, well, they kind of look like roots. So when you do it, just make sure you make it very, very random, tree-like almost. See, just like that. Maybe one back here. All we're doing is we're just scratching some of the paint. For those of you who haven't done lightning before, it's just a matter of scratching. I've had some people ask me, where'd you get that white marker from? Yeah, it's not a marker. Just scratching some of the paint from beneath. Now, to make it look more realistic, you might want to have that lightning kind of look like it's going behind the wing. See that? And you can do that and add as much lightning as you want. In this case, I think that ought to be enough. Alright, so now I'm using a little bit of red inside the SPRAYCASSO funnel, and I'm just kind of dabbing into the yellow. Okay, so it doesn't take very much to create the fire effect. It is a very neat effect. I hope you guys get lots of ideas with this technique. And one of the things that amazes everyone, it's how realistic the fire looks once you're done with it. I mean, I'm not trying to brag here or anything, guys, but I can almost feel the heat coming from this fire. You know what I mean? Well, maybe not that realistic, but it is pretty realistic. And I hope you guys get encouraged and actually try it out. See, you can almost see all the flames, how they interwave with each other. Anyways, practice it. It doesn't necessarily have to be a dragon that you try the fire technique on. It can be many things. We'll show you one of those techniques on the next tutorial. Anyways, I went ahead and added a little bit of clear coat, and I'm going to go ahead and put my name here. It's a little windy here in Carlsbad, so before the paint dries, I'm just going to go ahead and scratch my name into it. I'm not really done with this painting. I believe in balancing the painting, so even though it looks really cool, let's go ahead and remove the stencil, huh? Let's show you what the dragon looks like. Anyways, to balance the painting, it's not very hard at all. You create the water effect underneath, and usually when an artist says he's going to balance the painting, it means that he's going to use some of the colors that he uses up on top of the painting on the bottom as well, so that not all your focus is directly aimed at the flame. So I've done plenty of tutorials. You guys know how to create the water, right? Especially a reflective water. What I'm going to use here is a little bit of white, just so we get the gist that it is water, it is reflective. And I'm going to use the same colors that I use on the flame. So we're going to start off with our orange. Just spread a little bit of orange. We're going to move on to our red. A little bit of red. And then finally, we're going to use a little bit of yellow. And it doesn't take very much, guys, just a few sprays. And look at that. Pretty cool, huh? Alright, well, I hope you guys practice this technique. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's tutorial. And until next time, folks, keep those cans shaking.